I hope you understand that this Chinese invasion of the USA is escalating. On September 8th, it was reported that a document was distributed among the Air Force personnel warning of a People's Liberation Army sophisticated exploitation campaign. And what it did was it targeted current and former US service members for consulting contracts and basically looking for people with specialty training to come in and train their people to do the same tasks. And obviously, a warning was put out there, and some of the brass were out there trying to tell people about it and suggesting that they avoid some of these contracts because they're lucrative and at face value they don't seem like there would be a conflict of interest. But this is one of the ways that China is trying to infiltrate our military system by gaining the training and specialization that we invest our tax dollars into every single day. And then on September 4th, an FBI report revealed that over 100 incidents occurred at US military bases with Chinese tourists. Now, these tourists were called gate crashers, and basically they were caught all over the country doing nefarious things. They were walking onto missile ranges in New Mexico, they were caught scuba diving off the coast of Florida near a rocket launch site, and they even claimed to be making hotel reservations at US military installations, and that's their reasoning for randomly showing up at these locations. And this is something that China is trying to do on a multifaceted campaign where they're trying to infiltrate the country on every level specifically related to security, but in many other ways as well. And they're even compelling some of their people to enlist in the US services in order to gain inside information as to how our security protocols work and what it is that we're preparing for. Now, really quick, I do need to mention that the biggest supporter of the channel is Midway USA, and a big thanks to them for always helping me get out, get better prepared, and be ready for this Chinese invasion that's already happening. And the reason I keep harping on this is because it's happening right under your nose, and you need to be prepared for whatever outcome occurs. And a huge part of this entire scenario is to destabilize and create chaos here within the United States. How are they doing that? Well, here's kind of what their strategy looks like based on some of these gate crasher situations going on at our US military bases with these Chinese tourists, okay? Michael Pillsbury of the Heritage Foundation basically said the pattern is a very slow, below the threshold approach. They don't want to scare us into a Sputnik reaction or Pearl Harbor kind of reaction. They want us to keep on sleeping. So they don't want anyone to be alerted to or alarmed by their activities, so they're doing it in this form and fashion that doesn't create some sort of countrywide American reaction towards a wartime environment. And so China's doing this very strategically, and of course we're letting it happen in many ways. Now, we also have another form of Chinese invasion occurring here in the country that's going on right now that is also in the sense of a low threshold approach, okay? Basically, the northern border is another insecure location here in the United States, and we have migrant encounters up 846% year to date for the 2023 at the Swanton sector, which is a portion of the border that actually borders with New York, New Hampshire, and Vermont. They've had 6,100 apprehensions this year so far as compared to 1,000 last year. So it is getting very hectic in the sense of a portion of our border that's not as well secured, and the funding isn't as much there to do anything about it compared to what's going on at the southern border. And we all know that that's not working either. So you can just imagine how insecure this whole situation is. Now, the craziest part about this whole scenario at the northern border is that they're encountering people from up to 76 different countries. It's not just Mexico, it's not just China, it's 76 different countries, but you better believe a lot of Chinese immigrants are coming in through the northern border just the same way as they are at the southern border. And why is this an issue, and why is this part of their overall campaign of destabilization here in the United States and part of this invasion that is escalating? Because the activities that they're certainly engaged in are an escalation, especially regarding the targeting of US personnel, US military bases, and what it is they're doing in the sense of crossing our border with troves of military-aged men. Well, keep in mind, if the goal is destabilization and chaos, I think they're accomplishing it quite well in places like New York City, where we just had Mayor Eric Adams warn that this issue will destroy New York City. I said it last year when we had 15,000, and I am telling you now at 110,000, the city we knew we're about to lose. And of course, he's referring to the migrant crisis and the fact that it's straining resources in New York City, and the fact that morale is down around the city, and that it's just creating a huge amount of issues there. And of course, a lot of this is to be blamed on certain ideologies and allowances when it comes to our own national security. But the other side of that equation is that we're compromised. So the people who are involved in promoting some of these concepts are likely part of the problem, if you get what I am trying to say. And here's the best part about it, especially with this border invasion scenario that China is currently engaged in. It creates lots of chaos, puts a huge amount of strain on resources. We have the mayor of New York City literally saying our city is going to be destroyed by this, right? And there's no shots fired, right? Of course, you can say there are based on crimes that are occurring, but in regards to military action, this is a no shots fired strategy where we have an entire metropolitan area of the United States of America being destroyed right now. And those words aren't even mine, they're out of the mayor's mouth. So this invasion scenario is escalating. Whether or not it's specifically targeting our military installations or personnel, or whether or not it's just part of a illegal immigration campaign of pushing more and more strain on our systems, and then allowing for certain elements of their population to enter the US without issue that may or may not be activated at a later time. But I wanted to bring this all to your attention because these things are happening right now, and this is just a reminder that you need to be training for more than just a power outage. There's a lot more going on in the world right now than just natural disasters. And that's why you see me out here on the range as much as I am lately. And that's why we talk about a lot of the concepts that we talk about here on this channel, because the world's getting more dangerous. It's not just because the weather is getting crazy from time to time. It's because there's a lot of other bad actors out there that would love to see our demise more than anything else in the world. So, look, if you're new to the channel, thanks for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, because otherwise, we all know what happens in the world of YouTube when it comes to channels like this one actually continuing to get the message out. And if you need anything else from me, go to magicprepper.com. But besides that, it's going to be it for Magic Prepper.